3D rose on a magnetic stem to fit into my vase acrylic nailer tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to be showing you how I made the flowers that are on the little magnetic stem that go into the vase that I have on a nail. So I'll put a link to the vase video in the description box below, as well as the other flower one, but in this one it's going to be roses. So this nail, this video is just going to be showing you how to make the roses on the stem. If you have never made any acrylic flowers, these are definitely a good one to try to start with, because it is kind of like the basis, making these little 3D flowers. If you're doing something bigger than just a 3D flower on a nail, but if you want to do like an actual flower, I would definitely recommend starting with a rose. It is got a pretty basic concept and it's very repetitive, so that as you're learning how to do it, you will definitely kind of get into the feel for it as you continue to make even just a single flower. So I hope you like this, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well.
So to begin with, I'm just going to add a magnet to the end of my onto the end of the vase, and I'll just click to it and then mark the bottom of the magnet, so the part that's showing. So then take a piece of wire, make sure it's a little bit a medium gauge wire for jewelry wire, cut off the length that you need, take that magnet off the end and glue your stem, your little wire stem, to the unmarked side of the magnet. So you have that little marked area that you put with that Sharpie onto the magnet, so glue it to the opposite side. So you want that marked side down. I hope that makes sense, because that way you know for sure that the poles will line up and it'll work to connect it to the inside of the vase later on. So then after that glue has dried, just paint your stem with some green gel polish and then cure it. And then on a nail form backing, I'm going to start sculpting out my petals. So I'm taking a two-tone bead. Now this is completely optional. You can definitely just do this with a single color if you'd like. But I'm going to take that two-tone bead and set that down and then sort of press it out into a reasonably long bar shape. I don't want it to get too wide. I want to make sure that it can get rolled up, so it's going to create a little curly Q in the center. So just flatten that out nicely, and then after it gets to be set where it's starting to turn matte, grab your stem and set it onto the acrylic just like that. And then with the silicone tool is what I'm using, I'm just going to start trying to roll it up. And as I said, a silicone tool, and then that didn't really work so well, so I went back to my brush and I'm just going to, like I said, roll it up. So just roll it and try to keep it so that the end that is towards the bottom, that's towards the bottom of the stem, is pinched down, and then the top of it kind of fans open. And this is the part that definitely does take some practice, and you'll get used to kind of the shape of the flowers as you go on. But making these petals, you should be able to kind of get a feel for it throughout making just a single flower and kind of get used to it. So I'm going to be doing some more petals. So like I said, this is two-tone beads that I'm using, and they are kind of like a peachy pink color and then red. I didn't want them to just be a single color, because then there's not as much dimension to the flower, especially with a rose, because when you look in, it just kind of gets kind of dark and murky. But if you have these two-tone beads and you put a brighter, lighter color around the top, on the top of the flower, then you get a lot more depth in it, which is definitely, you know, it's nice to have depth in your work. But getting those two-tone beads is another thing that might just take a little bit of a practice. The main problem with doing that is because you need to make sure that you don't, it's really easy to end up with a bead of acrylic that's too large. So when you grab a two-tone bead, you're going to grab it into the lightest color first, or the lighter color. So for me, it's that light peachy pink color, and then go into the darker color, so that would be the red. So when you're making these next petals, you're just going to want to pick up a bead like that, dip, and then set it down onto the nail form backing, and then spread these out more into like a kidney bean type of shape, or a lima bean. And then after they're set enough that they turn matte, go ahead and pick those up. And I like to kind of work with them and pinch them in at the bottom of the flower with my silicone tools. I've seen videos where people have used their fingers to kind of mold these flowers and mold the roses. You want to try to avoid getting monomer on your skin as much as you can. That acrylic liquid could definitely cause some contact dermatitis, or I've even seen people that get an allergy to it if they use it too much and it gets on their skin too much, and then that can cause all sorts of problems. So just try to avoid that. So I like using the silicone tools as kind of a finger extension to mold them, or you can always wear a pair of gloves. And then I'm just going to take and I'm going to add those little leaves on the bottom of the flower with some green acrylic. The green acrylic I have matches that green gel polish really well that I used on the stem, so that works out. And just add those little bits. That's just going to kind of make that bottom area look a little bit better, so it's not so unfinished. And then with some diluted white paint, I'm just going to take a tiny brush and just go right around the very edges of all of the petals. Now doing this, you want to just take a little bit of that paint on and just sort of rub the brush right along the edge, and it should go on pretty easy. And then apply a tiny amount of gel sealer around the outside of the petals. You don't want to fill in your flower, you just want to kind of dust it with the gel sealer to make it a little bit shiny and to protect that paint that you just put on there. And then after that, you are all done. This is the daisy, and I will put a link to the daisy video in the description box below when it is uploaded. I'm going to be uploading that tomorrow, so definitely check back for that. I had never made a daisy before, so that was kind of exciting to kind of expand my flower horizons. So I hope you liked this video and I hope it helped you out a little bit. Please share recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram. I would love to see them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!